Before I finish the cockpit off, I've gone back to doing the tail wheel and getting the fuselage sidewalls in. The instructions call out for this area to be black. This is just primer, not the final coat, but they call out for that black. I'm not sure if that's correct. I've looked up some images. I found a couple of images with the Corsair with that checker, whatever it is, metal or in it, and that was black. And then I found others that don't have that in there. It's just normal fuselage wall, they're interior green. So I'm just going with the instructions. I'm going to paint that black. I'm going to paint, this is interior green in the back, but the landing gear is white. This is quite a bit of a process putting this together, because it's made to have moving parts, which is, to me, it's irrelevant because it won't be moving. I'll be gluing it in, and fixing it, I don't want it. So call it what you will, a gimmick or good idea, but it's unnecessary for my liking anyway. So yeah, and that one moves too. So that one moves, that one moves. I got to touch it up again because you have to put the wheel in and glue together. So the wheel, that's the rubber tire from the kit. The resin wheels I bought are only for the main wheels. You don't get a tail wheel. So I had to put that together. So I painted the wheel hub, put the rubber on, put the wheel in, and obviously I've painted everything, and now I've put it in. I've been cleaning up the seam line where that glued together. And now I've got to clean that up again, paint it, so I'll have to mask off the rubber. So no big deal, but it's not a great fit either on the, so I'll more than likely be gluing that in to hold it, because that can pop out. You can see it, how much movement there is. Would have been nice if the resin wheels came with the tail wheel, but hey ho. I've given up on this, cleaning up these ejection pin marks. I can't. I tried earlier on, I showed how I tried the sprue goo in the landing gear bay. That wasn't much chop either, so I'm just leaving it because you can't see it. I was just trying to make an effort to get it all good, but by the time you put it together, you know, and the tail wheel doors are on, the only way to see it if you pick it up and you come in and you're looking in at the top. But yeah, so because it's take forever, and for what purpose? You're not seeing it. Same as your cockpit, you're not seeing hardly any of that wall by the time the main section goes in. So anyway, I'll keep cleaning that up, then I can start putting that in. You got the tail, the rudder has to go in before you glue the fuselage halves together as well, because you got that same thing. If you want to move it, again, I don't want to, but I'll put it in the way it's meant to go. I've started painting up the cockpit area, so I've just painted it. I'm just letting that paint dry. I'm using, if anyone's interested, I'm using MRP interior green, the paint number ANA 611, which is what the instructions call out for. So I saw that on the bottle. I'll use the correct one for a change, because half the time there's that many different shades of interior green, and at the end of the day I don't think it matters too much for myself anyway. So while the paint's drying on that, I'm putting in the air intakes in the wing. keeping up with the theme of the kit from hell. They don't fit well. So I've put this one together and I've glued this end. When that's set, I'm going to have to twist that end around to fit up where it should sit, and then there's going to be some clean up. I haven't cleaned the wings up yet anyway. You can see there's still a mess. It's been a week since I worked on this and I still shudder when I look at it. To show how intent they were on putting ejection pin marks everywhere, even these, this is the intake, like the venting inside it, that bit, even that's got 6 ejection pins in it, ejection point pin marks in it. So I've got to try and clean out. That's just insane. Anyway, so when I get that together, I'll put it, that goes on that side, and no doubt that'll be a bad fit as well. And I still, like I said, I haven't cleaned up all these gaps yet. That's another chore. Oh, and when I painted, touched back up the rear wheel after I clean up those seam lines, and I put a clear coat on it, and I went to check it out when it was dry. It's all broken. I don't know what happened. It's the eyelet that hooked over the shaft for the rester hook. The eyelet around the rester hooks just crumbled away, and where it goes into crumbled. I don't know what happened. I do know I used rapid thinners when I put the clear coat on. I wanted to dry it quicker. I'm not sure if that did something, or it shouldn't. I know, but I don't know. I know I didn't manhandle it, because I just went to put it in and it just fell away. I don't know. It's just trying to destroy me, this kit, that's all. So when I dry fitted the resin engine, and I've measured how far it need to come out from here, like I mentioned in the last video, you got it's just like a plate at the end that's supposed to fit in there. That comes with the resin engine, and you're just supposed to put the resin engine on that, but it sits back too far. So what I'm trying, I'm not 100% sure it'll work. In theory it should. When I built the plastic engine, I've measured how far out I needed for the resin engine to sit, so I've cut off the plastic kit engine so it can sit, because I want the exhaust, because when you look up under the aircraft, you can see the exhaust. So if I just put the resin engine in, there'll be nothing there. So I wanted the back end of the engine, so that's where that should sit. And then I sit the resin engine on the front. That's the right distance for it sitting in the cowl. So I'm going to put that in, and hopefully this plan works. So you can see the exhaust if you look up underneath it. Like I said, that's just a plan in working. It's when I actually put it together is when the proof is in the pudding. Just about finished with the cockpit. So I've done some dry brushing, the foot pedals and along the floor just a bit. I've painted the headrest. Instructions call for black, but I thought I'd just add a bit of colour and make it leather. I've dry brushed the seat, suggesting where in the paint from the pilot sitting in it all the time, and the harnesses. Definitely a nice upgrade, that resin seat. And one of the side instrument panels, I had to add several parts to it. From when last time we looked, I put that 3D panel on top. I had to add some plastic parts, though. I've done that and dry brushed that. The parts, not the panel. It's I'm probably not going to dry brush that, because even though it probably suggests it's looking better than the rest of the cockpit, but it's such a nice piece, I don't want to bring harm to it. Now I did a bit of just light dry brushing on the side walls as well. I just used I use natural steel usually when I'm dry brushing in cockpits, or want to show metal coming through. It's even though it says steel, it's still a nice, still aluminium style colour. So I put that together now, and I'm still putting these pieces in. I've had to use that clamp to really get it into the position, hold it there, because otherwise I'll be sitting there holding it myself for ages till it sets. So I'm just doing a dry fit of the cockpit, and I found another problem. Surprise. Alright, so that bulkhead, oh, I'll just move, it needs to sit, the top part needs to sit on the outside of that lip, so it's flush with the fuselage. So this piece here is too far back to stop it from fit, so I'm going to have to cut out a little piece of that, and it'll be the same on that side. You can see it's fouling where the cockpit bulkhead needs to sit, so I'll have to remove those bits. Alright, I got it in. Cockpit is in. That bit there I'll pull in a bit when I glue the fuselage halves together. I can squeeze it in now, but at the moment I just want the main areas to set with the glue. Force too many areas at once, they'll start popping out in other spots. Just the exhaust, if my plan of it all working, fitting in, I've just small drill bit on this little USB Dremel, and just the lowest speed, and just hold it and just drill them out. These are great for working with plastic. That's just better than a solid plastic, that's all. Just a little bit of a do-it-yourself upgrade. Alright, amazingly it all fit together well. So I'm going to glue it in sections, just not because there's any tight fits, but just make sure I get it flush and nice and neat. I've just started with the tail at the moment, but so that was good. This is my idea, it should work. However, I've got to, so the exhaust will show. So that part that I wanted, I can do it. Just the I've made up the cowl. This kit's clear, so if you wanted to have a look at your engine, you could. It's actually nice and clear for that purpose. If you actually did want to do that, obviously you can't do the way I've done it, hacking things up, but personally I'm not a fan of that sort of thing, but it would work. It's actually, sometimes some kits they do, it's like a frosted clear, which I can't understand, but this one, so basically that was my idea. I got to put that engine on top of the kit one just to make the depth, but I think it's too much depth. I've made it too far out at the moment. It's got to plug in there like that. Okay, I think that's slightly too far out. So what I'll do, when I finished gluing the fuselage up and it's dried properly, I'll just get that out with the brake and everything. I'll sand that down some more till I'm happy with the depth. And I've also glued on the remaining resin parts on that engine, but I still got to put in, so you got to put in the push rods for each cylinder, and I'll put in some wiring as well, so that's a bit of a job ahead yet. Just for the front, that's what you're going to see, so I'll do those, and that's what you're going to see, so that'll have to be done